This is a gloriously fun film. For me, needless to say, I watched it because Debbie Reynolds is in it and I love her. But I also do really like Western films and I want to watch more of them. I haven't watched enough of them in my life. So if you can recommend any Westerns to me, please do. I'd be very interested in kind of broadening my horizons. The second time around is a 1961 film. This was directed by Vincent Sherman, written by Oscar Saul, and based on the novel by Richard Emery Roberts. I might actually read the novel. This is brilliant. There will not be any spoilers in this, so you don't need to worry if you haven't seen it. I actually watched it on YouTube, because when I was Googling it to kind of find out about the film, it popped up that it was on YouTube, so while I shouldn't really encourage films being uploaded when they're still in copyright, which I believe it will be, it is actually on YouTube, so you can actually watch it if you haven't seen it. The description from IMDb is as follows. In 1911, a widow with 2 children leaves New York City for territorial Arizona, becomes a ranch hand, and later gets... No, I'm going to stop reading there because that's a spoiler. And then it says, a gambler and a rancher become rivals for her affections. So maybe don't go to IMDb, because I was about to spoil that for you. Basically, at the start of the film, she is a widow, she's dressed all in black. We see her with her 2 children. And she reveals straight away that she is going to be moving to Arizona, which is not a state. I didn't realize that Arizona was not a state in 1911. So I learned something pretty quickly. And she goes without her children because she wants to go there first to find her feet, to get a house, make sure she's got enough money behind her to send for her children. So she goes there on her own, and straight away there are problems. She finds herself up against things that were unexpected, and she has to then find her feet, as it said there, as a ranch hand. And considering she's from New York City, moving to the West and having a very different experience is very funny, and seeing the contrast there works. It works really well on screen. This is a common kind of contemporary plot where people will move from the city to kind of more rural areas, and the contrasts there that are quite funny. But I personally haven't seen it happen with that many Westerns, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the way that they delivered this. I think Lou's character is brilliant. I absolutely love her. I warmed to her instantly. She is very headstrong and very determined, but there are times when she shows her weaknesses. I think her character development is great. There was no real time when I thought that her actions were kind of untrue to who she was. I thoroughly enjoyed her performance, and I have to say Thelma Ritter as Aggie was brilliant. She was such an enjoyable character in this, and I don't think I've seen her in anything else, so I will definitely be going on the hunt for other things that she has done. Do I have any complaints about this? Not even a little bit. The characters were great, the narrative development was exciting, it took some interesting turns. It's described on IMDb as being a Western and a romance. Don't let that fool you. This is not a romance. It is not a romantic film. There are, of course, glimmers of it, but it is not a romance. It's full of action. The contrasts between city and Western are great to see. The costumes are glorious. I don't know how 100% historically accurate this is. I am assuming that Arizona was not a state in 1911, as the film says. I'm taking that as fact. But I don't know how historically accurate a lot of it is. If there are things that aren't true, please let me know. That'd be really useful to know. But for the most part, I feel like it gives off a good vibe. It feels true. And for me, as a viewer, that's kind of one of the most important aspects. The second time around is brilliant. Debbie Reynolds is obviously fantastic. She has the most incredible facial expressions. There's one point where she goes completely cross-eyed. I can't do that. I know a lot of people can, but I cannot go cross-eyed. Absolutely incredible. Wonderful performances all around. Brilliant narrative. I think I'll get hold of the novel if I can. Well worth watching. As I said at the time of recording, it is actually on YouTube. So if you do have the time, give it a go. I loved it. Would love to hear your recommendations for more westerns. And as far as my recommendation goes, the second time around is brilliant.